Hello ladies and gentlemen, Nick here and welcome back to part 4 and the final part of my 2017 film ranking. It's only the top 5 left to go, so let's get started with number 5. A lot of people may disagree with me on this one, even if they're fans. But I'm still going to say it. Number 5, oh by the way, from this point onwards, all films are a 10 out of 10. In fact, was Wonder Woman a 10 out of 10? Might not have been, it might have been a 5. Not a 5, no, sorry, a 9. But from now on, all of them are 10 out of 10, including number 4, which was a 9, but now a 10. But I'll get to that in a bit. Number 5 is Star Wars Episode 8, The Last Jedi. Well, it wouldn't be the top 5 without a Star Wars film, would it? Unless it's not a very good one. Sorry, Phantom Menace, Attack of the Clones. I know a lot of people weren't so keen on this one. A lot of people. Or then again, a lot other people were really happy with it. Really loved it. I am in the latter camp, although I do acknowledge there are some problems, and I will talk some spoilers now that we are just over a month since the release, and I couldn't tell didn't want to do spoilers in my review, which was filmed after I'd gone and seen it. Okay, this time round, the problems that I agree with, there is a lot of time spent on the casino planet, and the ending where Luke's, well, spoiler alert, Luke dies. Yikes. That was a lot of people didn't want him to die, and I was amongst them. I wanted him to be at least go on to episode 9. Maybe he would have passed on then. But yeah, there wasn't really that much. I don't think the rebellion, the rebel, mutiny was necessary. I think if they just told him the plan, then they would have gone along with it. They just really wanted to go for action. And then like, oh, by the way, this is the plan. So I don't think the mutiny was necessary. I think they just should have known about the plan. And Snoke was killed off too early. Yeah, Luke and Snoke, they should have both stayed alive and gone on into episode 9, and we would have learned a bit more about Snoke. Because he's just a nothing character who just somehow is able to use the Force, but not really that much. He's not really the Emperor, is he? He's just some guy with the Force who's able to do stuff, and he's somehow in power of the First Order, which may as well be called the Empire, or the New Empire by this point. Makes me wonder if episodes 10, 11 and 12 were made, does that mean someone's going to be fighting the Second Order? If that wasn't the Empire, the First Order? Honestly, this is a bit confusing. But still, it's still got some really good moments. It looks really great, as usual. It's a Star Wars film. The battles are great, especially the opening. Some of the fights are great. Oh yeah, another character who's axed off without much development, Captain Phasma. She's only got a few more scenes in this film, and then she's axed off. Okay, with Snoke and Phasma, the problems with is that they haven't had their characters expanded on them that much. With Luke's case, it's because he was a fan favourite character. And in his and Snoke's case, we wanted to see what them in episode 9 as part of the story building of the universe. I am glad to see a bit more of C-3PO though, because he's another fan favourite character. It'd be great. It's great to see him doing a bit more stuff. And the training is good with Rey, some really great moments. Not sure what the point of the well was, but it was still a great scene. And yeah, I do think it did go a bit when they did kill off Snoke, it did go a bit Return to Jedi on it, which, considering this is partly inspired by Empire. It's a bit strange. My favourite moment of the movie, however, there is one scene that I love above, because I love most of the movie and really enjoyed it. But there's one scene I loved in particular, and that was Yoda's appearance. What's the difference between sarcastic? Ah, here we go. There we go. This is the happy clap. Okay, yes, that was my favourite moment. Yoda returns, and he's a puppet. So those who didn't like the CG Yoda in the prequels, including the when they made him CG in the Phantom Menace special, on the Blu-ray of Phantom Menace, those who were didn't like that, well, Puppet Yoda is back, and Puppet Yoda from Phantom Menace didn't look that very good, but Puppet Yoda here looks pretty good. I think he looks better in the Empire in Return when he was a puppet. I did like the CG Yoda, but the puppet one is probably better, especially if it's harking back to the older films. And if he's not jumping up and down, moving around, doing fighting and all that, then the puppet works better. And yeah, he's pretty cool. And I liked how great an appearance it was. And Frank Oz returns to voice him, and it's a cameo, but it's a important one, as Yoda's teaching Luke one last lesson, kind of instructing him to go and help Rey and the Empire. And Luke's wanting to burn down the Jedi Temple library and the books, but then he discovers he can't do it to himself, and then Yoda does it for him and says, "They're just an old bunch of books." Yeah, it's a really good scene, and it's nice. It's a nice little sweet scene. Also, Luke's death at the end of the film is very similar to Yoda's at the end of Return of the Jedi. He just dies peacefully. And yeah, very nice. Coming one with the Force. And also being Carrie Fisher's last film. Her character doesn't die in this film. I think they're going to have to write her out. Episode 9. They might put something happen to her in the crawl, perhaps. Or the first scene is her ship being blown up, or something. And so the rebellion has to carry on without her. But yeah, that's probably maybe you should have reshot or edited the end because of that, to know that Carrie Fisher wasn't coming back. Maybe Luke will be in the 9th, it will be in episode 9, but as a spirit like Obi-Wan was in Empire and Return, and he'll be helping Rey as a spirit ghost. So Mark Hamill could still return as Luke, but spirit form. But in the end, Star Wars Episode 8, The Last Jedi, was a really good movie, really great. Had some nitpicks, have some niggles. The Casino's planet scene is a bit of a waste of time in some... well, not waste of time, but it takes a lot of time out. And it's not really that interesting. But it could have cost quite a bit of that. But they do find Benicio Toro's character, who helps them and then betrays them. But in the end, pretty great film, for the most part. So yeah, that was Star Wars Episode 8, The Last Jedi. Number 4. Number 4 was formerly a 9 out of 10 scored film, but now I would give it a 10 out of 10. I've rewatched it and twice, once in its original theatrical version, and the other in its Noir N-O-I-R, black and white version on the Blu-ray. That is, of course, Logan. not to be confused with the Logan Lucky heist movie Logan Lucky that came 22nd on this list. This is the superhero movie that is Hugh Jackman's last outing as Wolverine, and also Patrick Stewart's last outing as Professor Charles Xavier, as well as possibly the first outing for Daphne Keene's X-23, as it's looking like she's going to be getting her own spin-off movie. Her own movie that will serve as a sequel to this one. And speaking of said character and actress, she is fantastic. In fact, Hugh Jackman, Patrick Stewart, and Daphne Keene are fantastic in their roles as their characters, who are great characters. Really well done. As there's not many main characters in this film, they do get quite a bit of expanding. The characterizations. Donald's character isn't really expanded upon, but Boyd Holbrook does a good job with the character. The villains don't get much of a characterization, but they're good, and they played great. Richard E. Grant is great as the main villain. Well, not the main. Yeah, he is the main villain, but he's not the one who appears the most. That's Donald. Caliban's great. Stephen Merchant does a good job with him, and yeah, it's a great film. Looks really good. It's basically a road trip, but in an apocalyptic future, more or less. And yeah, it looks really nice, and action's great. They wanted it to be R-rated in America, 15 in the UK. They got it. They made it bloody. They made it violent. They swore a lot. It was really well done. I didn't really particularly like the amount that they had quite a bit of language in the first time round, but rewatching it in the second and in the Neuer version, it did make sense why they had that much of, and it actually was pretty good. So that nitpick's been put to the side. Now the black and white version is also pretty good, though. Like in a Blu-ray review I read, I agree with that one, saying that it does take away the color of the color version. They make it look really good, and the black and white one does take away from that, but it still looks pretty good in black and white. But color, you get to see the backgrounds, the locations in glorious color. It looks really good. It's absolutely beautiful. Yeah, this is another stunningly looking film. It looks really good, and yeah, it's really enjoyable. Has a great story. It's directed really well, and it's a fitting end to one of the best superheroes of all time, Wolverine, as well as his mentor and introduction to a new superhero who I believe will be just as good. So I'm really looking to see what happens to her, and also to actress Daphne Keene, who seems to be a pretty great young actress at this point. So hopefully her career will take off after this, especially now that they're thinking of making another movie with Laura. So yeah, that's Logan, a fantastic movie. Number three is the other surprise hit. I was surprised by Wonder Woman. I was surprised by I think it's Despicable Me 3. I was surprised by La La Land. That's it. La La Land was the big surprise. However, the second biggest surprise was another horror movie, like with Conjuring 2 the year before. This is a horror movie based on the hit 1986 Stephen King novel, or at least the first half of it, and then they're going to have another one in 2019 that will be based on the second half. And the first film is called It. also It Chapter 1, with the sequel being It Chapter 2. It is fantastic. It's brilliantly scary, but also has some light-hearted moments as well. It's humorous, enjoyable, fun. It's got some really nice moments, like the scene where they're just swimming. 6 of the 7 kids are just having some fun at the lake. It's nice, calm moments. So when you get to the scary moments, then it feels, whoa. Then it makes it all the more scary. So the scary and the non-scary scenes kind of gel well together because of their positioning. It's nice that we get some chill-out time from all the scares before we get to the next couple. And the characters, I love these characters. These are probably my favourite characters from the films this year, at least of the new ones, not part of the franchises. But my God, I love these characters. I love the kids. Most of them get most stuff to do. I think only 2 of them don't really get that much, and that's Mike and Stan. Yeah, Mike and Stan, they don't get much to do, but Billy, Ben, Richie, the girl, I can't, and the one with the asthma. I'm trying to remember. They'll get back to me. It's not Beth, is it? Beverly. Beverly's the girl, and then it's not Richie. It's the one with the inhaler. Eddie. Okay, that's it. Okay, Billy. Is it Billy, Ben, Beverly? There's a lot of B's. Eddie and Richie, they all get a lot to do. Stan and Mike, not so much. I particularly like Richie. He's probably my favourite because he's so funny and quite a lot of the time. And he's also very humanoid, I would say. 'Cause he is having quite a lot of fun, but that doesn't mean he's not. He doesn't have other qualities. He's scared of clowns, so Pennywise being a clown is probably enough to scare him without having to go into all the other scary demon bits. And yeah, he's also a loyal friend most of the film. And yeah, the actors for all of them are really great. Billy, the one playing Billy, has a lot on his shoulders, as that character has a lot to do. And Bill Skarsgård as Pennywise is great. And also the bullies are great. The actors playing the bullies, and they are very menacing. You can believe how menacing they are. Especially Henry Bowers. Yeah, this is a really great film. It's got a lot of scares, and it's handled really well. Oh, and the fight towards the end was really great. Was well done, and also in the one at the house a bit earlier on. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing how they take the story in Chapter 2 with the adults. Adult versions of the kids. See what happens then. Yeah, and how it will be like how much to the 1990 version it is. So I've seen a review of the 1990 version, not the actual thing. I think that was a little more being made for TV. It's had more restrictions. This one has less restrictions, though some more disturbing scenes were cut. But in the end, it is a fantastic movie, and I love it so much. It's out now on DVD and Blu-ray, but I'm going to wait till the extended edition comes out, because there's apparently an extended edition coming out. So I'm going to wait for that. Please don't take too long. I actually dreamt... Funny story, I actually dreamt last night that it might actually be 2 years away. like the sequel. Hopefully it'll be released nearer to next Christmas at latest. Hopefully there'll be but I really want that extended edition to come out soon. I know the film's only just come out, but let's say it's like Lord of the Rings. The movie's coming out on DVD, and then you hear that there's going to be an extended edition out. So say this is Fellowship of the Ring. It's just come out. but you've already heard there's an extended edition coming, so you're going to wait for that. So it's a bit like that, kind of. Except it's only 2 films, or maybe even 1 if number 2 doesn't have an extended edition. But I will wait for the extended edition, because I'd like to get the extended edition. But if you don't want to wait, then get it now, because it is out now. Go get it. We are on to the top 2. Number 2 is the one... La La Land was one of the 2 2016 films I saw in 2017. The other is this one, Moana.
See the light as it shines on the sea, it's flying deep, but no one knows how deep it goes. And it seems like it's calling out to me, so come find me and let me know what's beyond that line. Will I cross that line? The line where the sky is the sea, it calls me, and no one knows how far it goes. If the wind in my sail on the sea stays behind me, one day I'll know how far I'll go.
Now, Moana is a beautiful film. It looks deliciously stunning, with all the great animation. The characters are great, the story is great, the songs of love are nice. It's just a ton of fun, and it's just a heartwarming adventure that just compels you to do your best, whatever you can. Go out there, do your best, have fun, love the world. Moana is a great character, and the fact she's voiced by a teenage girl, brilliant, from Hawaii as well, so tops for her. She does a great voice, she's great acting, great singing. I like Daphne Keane. I think Alidu Kahurwan, I'm probably pronouncing that completely wrong, but name should be down here somewhere sometime. But like Daphne Keane, I think she's got a potential, a likely potential. Oh, come on. A potentially brilliant future in acting or singing. With Keane, it would be acting. With Curlew, it would be acting and or singing, as she does a really great job here. And Dwayne Johnson is always a ton of fun, this time as Maui. And yeah, he does have the best singing voice, but I would still say even though he may not have the best singing voice, he does try his best, and it actually does sound a little bit good. Yeah, You're Welcome is probably my favourite song, just because I kind of like his singing voice. I know lots of people say it's not that good, but I liked it. And How Far I Go was another great song, and the one from About the Island was good, and the boat one was too, the Voyager one. But How Far I Go is probably really good. Shiny, sung by the Crowd, played by Jermaine Clement. That was another good one. And that reminds me, Jermaine Clement, and also the actress who voiced Moana's mother, Nicole Swazmanger. I'm pronouncing that again wrong. I'm not sorry, but names down below. Hopefully, remember future me. They were in Men in Black 3 together. Jermaine was Boris, the animal, and Nicole was the girlfriend at the start who came to help him break out of the moon prison. So, that's a nice touch. I wonder if the filmmakers are fans of Men in Black. Possibly. But yeah, Moana, it's a really great film, and it's really beautiful. Has really great moments, and it's all about, it's about proving yourself to be a hero and save the day and look after everything. And whatever you do, don't steal hearts of Goddess Island spirits. Otherwise, give it a couple of thousand years, everything will be completely black with dust. Whatever the stuff is. But yeah, it's pretty good. And didn't it completely explain why Moana why the seed chose Moana in particular? apart from the fact that she looks like the goddess island thing. Maybe she was a descendant or something, if she had any kids. But yeah, but whatever that reason is, it can be overlooked. People could just choose her for whatever reason it wanted. And in the end, again, yeah, another great movie, and it just looks so good. So yeah, Moana, brilliant. It was almost number one. If it wasn't for the fact that, one, it's a 2016 film in 2017. Second, there's another film that I think was just a tiny little bit better. Tiny. And would have been, even if it wasn't, then it still would have to be number one for the 2016-17 reason. But there's one movie that I saw which I enjoyed just that tiny bit more on both the first viewing and the rewatch. And in no way was the first viewing biased because it was my birthday. I'm not being biased because it was the film I saw on my birthday. On the day itself, not just the fact that it's the birthday treat. I'm not that biased. I generally loved this film on first and second viewings. Number one I'm talking about. I love number two as well. But generally loved it. Not just because it was my birthday and it was a sequel to a great film, as part of this great franchise, with most of the others were brilliant. But I generally loved it as its own film. And that film, let me just double check I'm talking about the same one. Of course I am. Is Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2.
Sun is shining in the sky. There ain't a cloud in sight. It stopped raining. Everybody's in the play. And don't you know, it's a beautiful new day. Hey, running down the avenue. See how the sun shines brightly in the city. On the streets where once was pretty distant blue. Sky is living here today. Hey.
Just like with Kingsman and Paddington, the second film's just a smidge better than the first one. Although in this one's case, I'd probably say it's a bit more of a bigger smidge. But this one's really, really good. I know some people prefer the first one, and probably aren't so keen on this one. I think this one, if people don't say Thor Ragnarok is the best of the MCU films this year, they'd probably say this one is. Spider-Man is usually stuck in the middle. But yeah, it's a really great film. We've got another fantastic villain in the form of Ego, and the Guardians themselves are great. They're expanding on how their characters and the performances are better. Yondu is a better character, and in this film, Michael Rooker does an even better performance here, as does Karen Gillan as Nebula. And also introducing Pom Kimanoff as Mantis. I probably said the name wrong again. If I did, down below. It's down below anyway. The only thing I didn't really find necessary was the Golden People. After they were first wiped out by Ego, they didn't really need, and sent Yondu out to get the Guardians. They weren't really needed to be seen again. Maybe in the last bit when they were looking for them and they found them, the Guardians on the planet, and they came down. But besides that, not really that much necessary. Not really used that much besides that as well. I think they're going to be a bit more important in the later films. I think there's a character called Adam Warlock, who this thing might be. That the High Priestess is creating, and he's going to be important somehow in a later MCU film, possibly Guardians Volume 3, which I think which is going to be out in 2020. This one's confirmed to be 2020, and the first one was a 2014 film. Hopefully it'll be the 25th MCU film, not the 24th, because then that's a Guardians film. Because all three Guardians films could be then in the 5 times tables, 10, 15, 20. 25, I mean, not 20, that's Ant-Man and the Wasp. So 10, 15, 25, so if it could be the 25th film, then that'd be great. So they have plenty of others to choose from for their 24th. So they could always wait for it to be 25 if they can have something squeezed in for 24. So, but I was saying, it looks visually stunning. The music again is brilliant, both the original score and the used tracks, and this is something that's also done well in the other two MCU films, and as well as also other films such as Paddington and Kingsman 2s, and a couple of the other films as well. And if it's not taken songs that already existing songs, then it's brand new songs that are really good, as well as a mix of both, stuff like in Beauty and the Beast. New songs can also, like examples like Lego Batman and La La Land, they were great. And yeah, this is just a ton of fun. It's really enjoyable. Loved every minute, and just wow, just absolutely wow. My only complaint would be the gold people weren't completely necessary, at least after they sent Yondu out. But that's it. And the mutiny also took up a bit of time, but that's not really that much of a problem. They also do spend a bit of time before the realisation of what's happened on the planet, on Leauge's planet. That's actually kind of working with the character developments, and so they're actually fine. So yeah, just working there. So yeah, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 is my favourite film of 2017. And yeah, that's it from my ranking list. Oh, you want to know my most anticipated movies for 2018, do you? Haven't completely worked out what my top two are Avengers Infinity War and Deadpool 2, the latter of which has now recently just been said it's coming out earlier than originally planned because they had to push back New Mutants as they would have crossed over in theatrical terms. So, New Mutants is now pushed back to early 2019. But I'm happy Deadpool 2 is getting an earlier release. Slightly early, I should say. This theatrical run was something I was a bit worried with the MCU ones doing, because we've got one in February, one in April/May, and one in July. I think the Ant-Man and Wasp could have been pushed back at least one more month. But we'll see how it goes. And the same would be for next year with March for Captain Marvel, April/May for Avengers 4, and July for Spider-Man Homecoming. So maybe they might want to bring Captain Marvel back to February, and push back Spider-Man Homecoming to August next year. But we'll see how it goes. Hopefully we'll go back to 2 films a year rather than 3 in 2020. So we'll see. I think my third most anticipated of this year would be The Incredibles 3. Not The Incredibles 3, The Incredibles 2. If Die Hard 6 is coming out in 2018, then I would say that would be my fourth anticipated. If that one is coming out in 2018, that is another fantastic film franchise, Die Hard. Yeah, 4 and 5 aren't so great. I know, especially 5 isn't a really great one. I like it more than 4, but 4 is a better film. But 1, 2, and 3 are brilliant. Hopefully 6 will go back to a 1, 2, 3 style than a 4 or 5 one. Make it R-rated, not PG-13. Otherwise, it will be like 4 and 5. Make it R/15 or 18 rated, and you'll get something like 1, 2, 3. Especially if it's half prequel. Because if it's half prequel, then it has to set up number 1. So, yeah. So if Die Hard 6 is coming out in 2018, that's my fourth most anticipated. And I'll put it as will be on the anticipated list when it comes out, when it's due out. What else? There was quite a few options. Black Panther, I don't think is in the top 5, but it's definitely top 10. Ready Player One, another one. I'd probably not put in the top 5, but be a top 10. Same for Early Man. What else is... There isn't really that. There's quite a bit, but not that much. I haven't seen any of the Mission Impossibles, but I'd still go and see the 6th one. Didn't get to see the 5th one, but recorded them all now. So, chance. Oh, Predator 4. I don't know if that'd be in the top 5. I don't really have a top 5 at the moment, guys. Let's just say top 3 Because the rest would probably just be a jumble. Anything else in the top 10 would probably be a jumble of films. Let's just say my top 3 are Avengers: Infinity War, Deadpool 2, and The Incredibles 2. Yes, they are all superhero films, but I'm sure there's some others that aren't superhero films out there. Somewhere along the line. But yeah. So that's it from me. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, Nick here, and welcome. Hang on, I'm just going. Okay. Oh, in fact.